going to learn about the square butt joint on MS sheet 2 mm thickness in vertical position using oxyacetylene welding OAW process.
Objectives. At the end of this topic, you will be able to prepare the MS sheet as per size 150 mm length, 50 mm width and 2 mm thickness, 2 numbers. Set the job in vertical position with a root gap. Weld the job in vertical position by the upward method. Inspect the weld for any surface defects. Now let us look at the tools required for the square butt joint on MS sheet 2 mm thick in vertical position using OAW process. Steel ruler, center punch, ball peen hammer, flat file, bench vise, tri-square, chipping hammer, steel wire brush, safety clothing, gloves, PPE kit, nozzle number 5, tongs, CCMS filler rod 1.6 mm OAW setup, cylinder key, tip cleaner, spark lighter, gas welding goggles. Let us take a look at the pre-welding preparations for square butt joint on an MS sheet now. Using the OAW process 2 mm thick in vertical position 3G. Shear the sheet as per size 150 mm length, 50 mm width and 2 mm thickness, 2 numbers. File the edges of the MS sheet and check the squareness. Clean the surface with a steel wire brush. Set the gas pressures of oxygen and acetylene to 0.15 kg per centimeter square. Fix nozzle number 5 in the welding torch. Ignite the torch and set the neutral flame. Select a CCMS filler rod of 1.6 mm dia. Set the plate as a square butt with a 1.5 mm root gap on the welding table. Tack weld the two pieces with a 1.5 mm uniform root gap on both ends and in the center. Check the tack welded sheet for correct alignment. Let us now look at the welding procedure for the square butt joint on MS sheet OAW process 2 mm thick in vertical position. Fix the tack welded job vertically in the welding positioner. Keep the bottom edge of the sheet at the welder's chest level. Melt the tack weld and establish a weld pool at the bottom edge of the joint. Keep welding upwards while maintaining a filler rod angle of 30 to 40 degrees and a blowpipe angle of 75 to 80 degrees to the line of travel. Continuously dip the filler rod tip in the molten pool and move upward. Weld the joint with a single run. Move the torch to the bottom of the square groove and establish a weld puddle. Continue to develop the puddle until you see the keyhole that indicates complete penetration. When you achieve the desired penetration, begin adding filler metal and proceed welding upwards. Use a slight side-to-side weaving motion on the blowpipe to ensure fusion of both edges of the joint. Add filler metal to create an even bead with a good profile and appearance. End the weld at the top of the joint and ensure to fill the crater. Check whether there is uniform root penetration at 0.5 mm depth and a weld reinforcement of 0.5 to 1 mm. Ensure the edges of both metals melt equally so as to achieve complete penetration. At the end of the joint, add sufficient filler metal and fill up the crater. Use tongs to remove the job from the fixture. Inspect for surface defects and root penetration. Now we will look at the important points to be followed for square butt joint on MS sheet 2 mm thick in vertical position using the OAW process. Wear protective clothing. Wait for the job to cool down. Use tongs to remove the job from the fixture. Inspect the surface defects and root penetration. Let us now see the defects. Undercut, uneven bead profile, burnout, edge of the plate melting off, distortion, and improper penetration.
Recap. Let us do a quick recap of what you have learned from this topic. Prepare 2 ms sheet as per size 150 mm length, 50 mm width and 2 mm thickness. Set the job in vertical position with a root gap. Weld the job in vertical position by upward method. Inspect weld for any surface defects. Thank you, students. Let us meet in the next session. Bye-bye.
Hello, welcome to the session on fillet T-joint welding on mild steel sheet of 2 mm thickness in 3F vertical position. Let us look at the objectives of the session. At the end of the session, you will be able to prepare the job as per drawing, set the job in vertical position, select the filler rod, nozzle and gas pressure, set the neutral flame and tack welding, weld the job in upward direction, clean the joint and inspect on weld defects. The first tool we require for fillet T-joint is a hacksaw. It is a hand-powered tool that consists of a blade known as a hacksaw blade. Next tool is metal file, which is a hand tool used to remove excess material from the job. Files come in different cross sections and teeth. The third tool is bench vise, which is a basic clamping tool for metal working. The bench vise consists of 2 jaws where the metal piece to be worked can be gripped. Next is the welding table, which acts as the workbench for welding activities. The platform height of the welding table must be at the waist level of the welder. Next is oxyacetylene welding (OAW) machine. It includes oxygen and acetylene cylinders, regulators, hoses and torch. Another tool is wire brush. It is a basic cleaning tool used to remove rust over the metal surfaces before the welding process and to remove slag after the welding process. Tri-square is a hand tool which is used to check the right angles between the 2 sides of metal plates. Spark lighter is a device that is used to produce flame in the blowpipe of gas welding practices. Here is the procedure for fillet T-joint on mild steel sheet of 2 mm thickness in 3F vertical position using oxyacetylene welding (OAW) process. First, clean the welding area thoroughly using a wire brush to remove any rust, dirt or other contaminants to ensure that the weld is strong and free of defects. Place the 2 metal sheets together in T-joint configuration and ensure that they are aligned correctly to 90 degrees. Then clamp the sheets to 3F position to prevent them from moving during the welding process. Set up the oxyacetylene welding OAW equipment, including the welding torch, oxygen, and acetylene cylinders and regulators. Now, fix number 5 nozzle. Select 1.5 mm diameter CCMS filler rod and set the gas pressure at 0.15 kg per centimeter square for both gases. Ensure to wear proper personal protective equipment before starting the welding process. With the neutral flame produced, preheat the weld zone of the two metals that are clamped. Now, tack the workpiece as a T-joint by introducing CCMS filler wire. Ensure that the angle of the blowpipe is at 75 to 80 degree and filler rod at 40 degree. Also, maintain the blowpipe angle between the sheet surface as 45 degree. Start welding the joint from the bottom in the upward direction by placing the blowpipe at an upward flame axis angle of 45 degree with the weldment plane. Make sure to maintain a consistent distance from the joint and fill it completely with filler metal. After completing the weld, allow it to cool slowly to prevent any cracking. Then, use a wire brush to clean up any slag or spatter that may have formed during the welding process. Check the quality of the weld by visually inspecting it for any cracks or defects. Let's recap the key points discussed. Place the two metal steel sheets together in T-joint configuration and clamp the sheets in the fixture in 3F position. Set up the oxyacetylene welding equipment and preheat by neutral flame. Tack the workpiece by introducing CCMS filler wire. Start welding the joint from the bottom in the upward direction at an upward flame axis angle of 45 degree. This brings us to the end of the session. Hope you've gained a good understanding about the fillet welding of T-joint on mild steel sheet of 2 mm thickness in 3F vertical position. See you in the next session. Hello, welcome to the session on structural pipe welding butt joint on mild steel pipe of diameter 50 mm and 3 mm of wall thickness in 1G rolling position. Let us look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to cut and prepare the MS pipe as per drawing. Set the pipes in flat position. Select nozzle, filler rod sizes, gas pressure and flame. Set the root gap and tack weld the pipes. Deposit root run from 3 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Clean and inspect for surface defects. The tools and equipment used for butt welding of pipe joint are hacksaw, metal files, bevel protractor, or multi-welt gauge, bench vise, welding table and welding fixture, oxyacetylene welding OAW equipment, wire brush, and chipping hammer. Here is the procedure for welding a butt joint on an MS pipe of diameter 50 mm and 3 mm wall thickness in the 1G position using the oxyacetylene welding OAW process. First step is to cut the pipes to 75 mm length by hacksaw and file its end square to 75 mm length. Ensure that the pipe ends are clean, free from rust, grease or other contaminants, and beveled to the required angle. The bevel angle of single pipe should be approximately 30 degree and the gap between the two pipes should be 1 to 2 millimeters. Clamp the pipes and align the two pipe axes in 1G position so that the joint is in a horizontal position using a welding fixture or a welding table. Set up the OAW equipment including the welding torch, oxygen and acetylene cylinders and regulators. Now, fix number 5 nozzle, select 1.6 mm diameter CCMS filler rod and set 0.15 kg per centimeter square pressure for both gases. Ensure to wear proper personal protective equipment before starting the welding process. First, set the neutral flame. Then, tack weld in 3 places, that is 120 degree apart by keeping 1.5 mm root gap between the pipes. Now, divide the pipe circumference into 4 segments. Also, ensure to keep the pipe horizontally on the fixture. Deposit the root run starting from 3 o'clock position to 12 o'clock position, that is first segment, using proper blowpipe and filler rod angles. Maintain a consistent welding speed and filler metal deposition rate. Now, turn the pipe joint in the clockwise direction to make the end of the root run or first segment to come to 3 o'clock position. Continue to weld the root run for the second quarter segment as like the first quarter. Similarly, complete root run of third and fourth segment. Ensure the root penetration by maintaining a keyhole at the root throughout the root run. Clean the root run by steel wire brush. Now, fix number 5 size nozzle. Select 2 mm diameter CCMS filler rod and set 0.15 kg per centimeter square gas pressure. Set neutral flame and fill the V groove by depositing the second run using slight weaving to the blowpipe to fuse the faces of the V properly. Ensure that the weld bead is uniform and flush with the pipe surface. After completing the weld, allow it to cool slowly to prevent any cracking. Finally, remove the clamps and clean the weld with a wire brush to remove any slag or other debris. Let's recap the key points discussed. Cut the pipes to 75 mm length by hacksaw and file its end square to 75 mm length. Clamp the pipes in 1G position. Tack weld in 3 places, that is 120 degree apart, by keeping 1.5 mm root gap between the pipes. Starting from the first segment, deposit the root run segment by turning the pipe joint in the clockwise direction. Clean the root run by steel wire brush and deposit the second run. Ensure the weld bead is uniform and clean the weld with a wire brush. This brings us to the end of the session. Hope you have gained a good understanding about the pipe welding butt joint on mild steel pipe in 1G rolling position. See you in the next session. Hello, welcome to the session on fillet lap joint on mild steel plate of 10 mm thickness in 3G vertical position. Let us look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to prepare and set the job in vertical position. Select electrode, current and polarity. Set short arc and tack weld. Deposit root and welding run. Clean and inspect the surface defects. The tools and equipment used for fillet lap joint are metal files, welding table, wire brush, chipping hammer, weld clamping, and shielded metal arc welding SMAW machine. Here is the procedure for fillet lap joint on mild steel plate of 10 mm thickness in 3G vertical position using shielded metal arc welding SMAW. The first step is to cut the plates as per the required size and prepare the square edges using metal filing. Next, the plates should be aligned in parallel to each other with one plate overlapping the other vertically. The lapping distance should be 25 mm. Then it should be clamped securely to hold the plates in place during welding. In 3G position, the welding is done vertically upward, which means that the joint is perpendicular to the ground. Ensure to wear proper personal protective equipment before starting the welding process. Now, tack weld the two plates. Ensure that the surfaces of the plates are parallel to each other and there is no gap between the plates after tacking. Clean the joint with the help of wire brush. Now, deposit the root run in short arc to improve the weld penetration. For this, select 3.15 mm diameter medium coated mild steel electrode and set 110 ampere current. After performing the root run, deslag with a chipping hammer and clean the joint with a wire brush. Then, inspect the weldment area visually to check whether the weld penetrations are proper. Now, deposit the intermediate run with short arc and weaving motion. For this, select 4 mm diameter medium coated mild steel electrode and set 150 to 160 ampere current. After performing the intermediate run, deslag with a chipping hammer and clean the joint with a wire brush. Finally, deposit the final run in weaving motion at uniform speed. For this, select 4 mm diameter medium coated mild steel electrode and set 150 to 160 ampere current. After performing the final run, remove the clamp and clean the weldment area with wire brush. After that, inspect the weldment area visually. Let's recap the key points discussed. Prepare the square edge of the two mild steel plates and place properly in the vertical position for the welding. Select a 3.15 mm diameter mild steel electrode and set 110 ampere current. Deposit the root run with short arc length and by a very slight weaving motion to the electrode. After the root run, perform the intermediate and final run with the same procedure as the root run. After each run, do the cleaning and inspect the weldment area.
This brings us to the end of the session. Hope you've gained a good understanding about the fillet lap joint on mild steel plate in 3G vertical position. See you in the next session. Hello, welcome to the session on open corner joint on mild steel plate of 10 mm thickness in 3F vertical position. Let us look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to prepare and set the job as per drawing. Select electrode, current and polarity. Set the short arc and tack weld. Deposit root, second and third weaving runs in upward direction. Clean and inspect for surface defects. The tools and equipment used for open corner joint on MS plate are 2 mild steel plates of 10 mm thickness, shielded metal arc welding SMAW with a suitable welding electrode like E6010 or E6011, metal files, clamps, welding table, wire brush and chipping hammer. Here is the procedure for open corner joint on mild steel plate of 10 mm thickness in 3F vertical position using shielded metal arc welding SMAW. First step is to clean the two mild steel plates by using wire brush. Prepare the square edges on the plates for the better fusion after welding. Position the two pieces to be welded in 90-degree angle vertically and hold them in place using clamps. Then maintain a uniform root cap of 1.5 to 2 mm and tack weld the two plates together to form an 87-degree angle between the inner faces of the plates. Clean the joint thoroughly by using wire brush. Now, we need to weld the joint vertically upwards. For that, we need to provide 3 layers of welding. They are root run, intermediate run, and final run. First, we will start with the root run. Take 3.15 mm diameter electrode and set 110 ampere in the welding machine. Start the welding by beginning the initial arc on the joint. Then, proceed the welding in vertically upward direction. Maintain an electrode angle of 80 degree to the line of weld and give weaving motion to the electrode. Once the root run is completed, clean the weldment area by using wire brush and inspect the weldment area visually. Then, start the intermediate run over the root run. For this, take 4 mm diameter electrode and 160 ampere welding current. The angle of the electrode should be 80 degree off the line of the weld and the arc length should be short. Once the intermediate run is completed, clean the weldment area by using wire brush and inspect the weldment area visually. Then, deposit the final run over the intermediate run. For that, take 4 mm diameter electrode and 160 ampere welding current. Maintain the same welding angle as used in the previous runs. Once the final run is completed, clean the weldment area by using wire brush and inspect the weldment area visually. Let's recap the key points discussed. Prepare the square edges on the mild steel plates and position the two pieces to be welded at 90-degree angle vertically. Take 3.15 mm diameter electrode and set 110 ampere in the welding machine. Tack weld the two plates together to form an 87-degree angle between the inner faces of the plates. The 3 layers of welding in open corner joint are root run, intermediate run, and final run. Clean the weldment area by using wire brush in each run and finally inspect the weldment area visually.
This brings us to the end of the session. Hope you have gained a good understanding about the open corner joint welding on mild steel plate of 10 mm thickness in 3F vertical position. See you in the next session. Hello, welcome to the session on pipe welding elbow joint on mild steel pipe of diameter 50 mm and 3 mm of wall thickness in 1G flat position.
Let us look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to draw the development for elbow pipe joint. Prepare the pipes as per drawing. Set root gap and tack weld. Weld the elbow joint in flat position. Clean and inspect the weld defects. The materials required for pipe welding elbow joint are mild steel pipe of 50 mm into 3 mm, metal files, tri-square, dot punch, ball peen hammer, hacksaw, drawing sheet and drawing instruments. Here is the procedure for pipe welding elbow joint on mild steel pipe of diameter 50 mm and 3 mm wall thickness in 1G flat position. Develop the pipe surface drawing on the drawing sheet and keep the size to full scale. Remove the unwanted portion of the sheet other than the elbow profile. Roll the developed elbow in the drawing sheet around the pipe end. Now trace the elbow profile over the pipe surface by a marker or scriber and remove the drawing sheet from the pipe surface. By using dot punch and ball peen hammer, punch the curve path over the pipe surface and clamp it in the bench vise. Remove the unwanted part of the pipe using hacksaw. Then, file the burrs from the edges of the pipe after sawing out. Similarly, prepare the other pipe by following the same procedure. Thus, we have prepared the mating faces of the pipes. Now, the joint will be in the form of ellipse. Align the pipes in a horizontal flat surface for tacking. The root gap used in the joint is 1.6 mm. Set the gas cylinder pressure to 0.15 kg per centimeter square and set the flame as neutral. Use number 7 nozzle CCMS filler rod of 3 mm diameter. Tack the 4 segments of the face. Weld the joints by manipulating the blowpipe and filler rod in one run using 3 mm diameter CCMS rod. The order of sequence of welding is 2 to 6, that is segment 1, 10 to 12, that is segment 3, 10 to 6, that is segment 2, and 2 to 0, that is segment 4. Ensure to maintain the keyhole and end the weld of each segment properly to get the root penetration. Clean the weldment area with wire brush and inspect it visually. Let's recap the key points discussed. For the pipe elbow joint, develop a pipe surface drawing on a drawing sheet and prepare 2 pipes to join at an angle of 90 degree. Using dot punch and ball peen hammer, punch the curve path over the pipe surfaces to prepare the mating faces of the pipes. Maintain the order of sequence of welding as segment 1, segment 3, segment 2 and segment 4 respectively. Clean the weldment area with wire brush and inspect it visually.
This brings us to the end of the session. Hope you have gained a good understanding about the pipe welding elbow joint on mild steel pipe of diameter 50 mm and 3 mm of wall thickness in 1G flat position. See you in the next session. Hello, welcome to the session on single V-butt joint on mild steel plate of thickness 12 mm in 3G vertical position.
Let us look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to prepare the job as per drawing, bevel the plates by gas cutting, set the job with root gap and tack weld, deposit root, second and third runs in vertical position, clean and inspect the surface defects. The tools and equipment used for butt welding of single V joint are mild steel of 150 into 50 into 12 mm, shielded metal arc welding SMAW with a suitable welding electrode like E6010 or E6011, metal files, clamps, welding table, wire brush and chipping hammer. Now we will see the welding procedure for single V-butt joint. Prepare the metal pieces for edges by beveling. The bevel angle of both the plates should be 30 to 35 degree. While beveling the edges, it is essential to maintain the root face as 1.5 mm and the root gap as 2 mm. Ensure to wear proper personal protective equipment before starting the welding process. Now, preset the plates to 177 degree on the root side of the joint and tack weld on both ends with correct alignment. Use 3.15 mm diameter mild steel electrode and 110 ampere current. Deposit the root run starting from the bottom of the plate in upward direction and maintain a uniform root penetration. The angle between the electrode and the weldment axis must be 80 degree. Also, the angle between the plates and the electrode must be 90 degree. After completing the root run, clean the weldment by chipping hammer and wire brush. Now, deposit the intermediate run by using 4 mm diameter electrode and 150 ampere current. Use weaving motion of the electrode for intermediate run. After the completion of intermediate run, clean the weldment from slag thoroughly. For depositing the final run, use 4 mm diameter electrode and 150 ampere of current. Proper weaving motion of the electrode is necessary for final run. Remove slags using chipping hammer and clean the weld bead thoroughly using wire brush. Finally, inspect the root penetration, undercut, blowholes and excess reinforcement. Let's recap the key points discussed. Prepare the mild steel plates for edges by beveling. The bevel angle of both the plates must be 30 degree to 35 degree. Deposit the root run starting from the bottom of the plate in upward direction. Deposit the intermediate run by using 4 mm diameter electrode and 150 ampere current. After final run, visually inspect for root penetration, undercut, blowholes and excess reinforcement. This brings us to the end of the session. Hope you have gained a good understanding about single V-butt joint on mild steel plate of 12 mm thickness in 3G vertical position. See you in the next session.
Hello students, welcome to the welder trade. In continuation of our learning, in this topic we will learn about the pipe flange joint on an MS plate with an MS pipe with a 50 mm diameter and a 3 mm wall thickness. 1F using shielded metal arc welding.
Objectives: take a full-length MS sheet of 3 mm thickness. Mark an internal and external circle on a square plate. Cut the internal and the external circles using oxyacetylene gas cutting. Clean the plate with a steel wire brush. Inspect the cutting for any external deformities. Now, let us look at the tools required for the preparation of a flange joint on an MS plate, marking and cutting with an MS pipe 50 mm by 3 mm WT using the oxyacetylene welding process. Steel rule, scriber, prick punch, ball peen hammer, flat file, bench vise, tri-square, tongs, chipping hammer, steel wire brush, electrode cable and earth cable, electrode holder, electrode, personal protective equipment, SMAW welding plant machine and their setup accessories, weld gauge, circle cutting guide, marking material, C-clamp. Now let us see the welding preparations for a pipe flange joint on an MS plate with an MS pipe 50 mm by 3 mm WT 1F using shielded metal arc welding. Begin by obtaining a full-length MS sheet with a thickness of 3 mm. Apply marking media such as chalk over the MS plate. Using a ruler and a scriber, mark the cutting size as 100 mm in length and 100 mm in width. Punch mark along the marked lines using a prick punch and a hammer. Set up the hand shearing machine on the welding table. Place the marked sheet on the shearing machine, ensuring it aligns with the cutting line axis. Gradually apply pressure on the handle to ensure a straight line cut. Check to ensure that the sheet remains undistorted during cutting. If any distortion occurs, place it on the anvil and remove the distortion using a hammer. Use a tri-square to check the squareness of the plate. Thoroughly clean the sheet, removing any oil, grease or dirt. Let us see how to perform the cutting process of an MS plate and an MS pipe with a 50 mm by 3 mm WT for a pipe flange joint using the oxyacetylene welding process. Place the sheet on the welding table. Have a spring divider ready for drawing the circle. Inspect the spring divider to ensure it is in working condition. Prepare a marker and scriber for marking measurements. Find the center of the 3 mm thick square plate by drawing two diagonals and making a dot at the intersection of these diagonals. Using a dot punch. With the spring divider, scribe a circle with a 25 mm radius at the center of the square plate and another larger circle with a radius of 45 mm. Set the acetylene gas pressure to 0.15 kg per centimeter square and the oxygen gas pressure to 1.5 kg per centimeter square for cutting the 3 mm MS plate. Create a neutral flame and preheat the center point of one of the plate's edges until it reaches a bright red hot condition or kindling temperature. Depress the oxygen cutting lever and manually move the torch from the edge of the plate to the punch-marked circumference of the larger circle. Utilize a roller guide and a circle cutting attachment to start cutting the larger external circle with a 90 mm diameter. Move the torch from the pierced hole towards the circumference and complete the cutting of the 50 mm diameter hole using a small circle cutting attachment. To cut the internal circle, first pierce a small hole about 10 mm inside the circumference of the 50 mm diameter circle. Move the torch from the pierced hole towards the circumference and complete the cutting of the 50 mm diameter hole using a small circle cutting attachment. Clean the cut edges with a steel wire brush. File the inside face of the cut edges using a half round file.
Recap. In this topic, you have learnt how to obtain a full-length MS sheet with a thickness of 3 mm. Mark both internal and external circles on a square plate. Cut the internal and external circles using oxyacetylene gas cutting. Clean the plate using a steel wire brush. Inspect the cut for any external deformities.
Wherever you go today, you will hear some common questions. Whether it is the young or the old, men or women, fruit vendors or milkmen, everyone wants to know